All right, how's everybody doing? Hey guys, this is Ronald Palmer. I am a motivational speaker, life coach, and family therapist. This is my official attempt to try to get this done. I'm trying to make
It's 11
sure.
o'clock.
You see, you heard that go? That is so I can stay on track because I have clients coming in to see me. As you know, during this time period, there's not a lot of businesses that are allowed to be open right now. And it's really important that we connect with one another. And so I'm looking at your comments, and I want to say thank you. Let's see who we have here. All right, so Miss Elkins, thank you so much. The sound quality is great. Thank you so much for saying that. Um, Roy Sullivan, my brother and mentor brother, I really hope I can find a way to bring you in so I can do a co-host with you. That man has mentored me in so many ways. I want to talk about a couple things today. First of all, you got to get this software if you're looking at different things. I know Zoom is a good software and I use it. It's HIPAA compliant. I love using HIPAA, especially as a counselor, but when it comes to, especially if you have a MacBook like me, this program is amazing. The first thing is I'm able to have a DSLR camera, which is the point and click cameras we used to have back in the day. It allows me to have what you see here because now I'm very clear and the background is faded. In the background, it looks so much clearer than it would in an iPhone or something. The other thing, as I told y'all before, is I'm using a Yeti mic, which gives me really crisp sound quality. The only bad thing about this camera is that I'm not a female. I'm not, and I don't wear makeup. Now, that's not to say that men can't wear makeup. As a matter of fact, a lot of men on TV do, especially newscasters. So if anybody would like to teach me how to wear makeup on the screen so I can look pretty and hide my pores, just let me know. All right. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about this program. I like this because if you look on the screen, I'm able to type anything I want, and I can hide it or bring it about if I want to. And so let's say if I was starting this brief, I say, hey guys, welcome to the show. We're going to start in a few minutes, and there's a time clock on top. All right, and so then you're able to hide your broadcast. You can come in and start talking to them and sound very professional. The other thing that's really important is your contact information. No one uses business cards anymore. I don't even know why we make them. When's the last time you actually took a business card and used it? We don't do it. When I give somebody a business card, I make them put me in their phone and I make them set a reminder to call me because that's the only way that's going to happen. And I usually do a silly picture. And all of those things are to lock it into the memory in a different way. It's really great to have have contact information. Now, I've also realized that during this time of isolation, I typically give out my email, which you see down here, and not my phone number, because one of the worst things you can do as a therapist, for example, or as a pastor, is to ask for people to call you and then not be able to connect with them. So I want to apologize. I know a lot of you have been trying to reach me. It's the reason why I'm trying to do different forms because I have too many clients to be able to take care of at the moment. I know that's a first world problem to have too many clients, and I hope that becomes a not problem, meaning that things get so much better that people are just calling me to say hi and not because they're having problems or issues. Okay. What I want to take a look at here is I want to know what questions you have for me. I want to know what things you're wanting to do right now because it's important. I want to know what you're thinking about and the things that you want to communicate with me with. I'm looking at the comments now here, and let's see. All right, so my beautiful daughter Letiana, who's in the Philippines, thank you, honey. She supports me even when I'm being completely silly. She's got me doing TikTok, and I used to dance way back in the day, and it's obvious that I do not have those skills anymore, but we do crazy things for our daughters, don't we? All right, so one question here. My kids are driving me crazy. What do I do? Well, I know everyone is in one compartment, in one place. And the first thing I will tell you to do is that you need to set some time aside each day to talk about some real stuff. I don't think that you realize this, but most of us go through our days without asking real questions. Hey, how are you doing? Are you experiencing any sadness? Are you feeling anxiety? Our kids are smarter than us. They actually know what these words mean. Ask if you feel like your child has been very down lately. Just point blank ask, hey, have you thought about hurting yourself? My kids who cut, this is when the cutting goes up. My children and young adults and adults who are suicidal, this is when the suicidal tendencies go up. And I really want to get into talking about what some of these things mean, because one of the problems I have is the fact that we in the media, or the media itself, doesn't give the right definition for stuff like bipolar and depression. All right, another question. What is bipolar? Okay. This is a really good question, and I need to give you a simple explanation of what it means. Bipolar. Bipolar is not someone who has mood swings every second. Usually, when I see people that are bipolar, it means the best way to explain it is that when you are in a house, for example, you may have a ceiling, or let's say, okay, you have an attic and you also have a basement. Somebody who is bipolar, they have a hard time staying on the main floor, meaning that majority of us, when we get sad, we just get sad. A lot of us, when we get angry, we just get angry. When we're happy, we're just happy. With people with bipolar disorder, chemically, their brain kind of goes to a different place. So when they get depressed, and there's different types of bipolar, but the people that have bipolar depressive type, when they reach those moments, it can feel like they want to die, and it's very real to them. And reasoning it out and trying to be logical about it doesn't work. Matter of fact, sometimes when we tell our kids, for example, I want you to feel better, or just go play a video game, it actually makes them feel worse. And so, and the other one is a manic. You hear the mania. What does that look like? It looks different in so many people, but sometimes it may look like happiness. You may see your kid like bubbly and connecting, but if they are feeling crappy one day, and then the next day they wake up the next morning and they're bubbly and nothing has changed. They didn't win a lottery. They didn't get a new boyfriend, new girlfriend. And it's more than just happiness. Nothing seems to bother them. And then and one of the ways you know this, if you know it's not going to last very long, and then there's going to be a drop, that may be bipolar. And a lot of time, it's not day by day usually. Sometimes I have kids and young adults and adults that can be quote unquote normal for weeks or months. And so if it's moment by moment, that's a completely different diagnosis. I'm going to say this disclaimer. I'm not going to invade anybody's privacy here. If you ask me a question, I'm just going to say it in general. I'm not going to call out your name or anything. I want to make sure your privacy is incurred. But I'm getting so many people asking me some of these questions. I felt that I would get online. Let's see here. Next comment. What do I think about video games and violence? Okay, so you're going to see, I've posted it before about violence, and my personal experience as a therapist is different. And this is going to get me in trouble for some of the parents, and some of the kids are going to get excited. I would say probably 85% of the time, violent video games, in my opinion, don't really cause violence. As a matter of fact, a lot of my kids who have violent instincts actually feel better after playing a violent game. But there are some dangers of video games. Number one, and I will post here one of my videos I talked about before, way back, about violence. Know your ratings. When you look at a video game, there's pornographic material, there's curse words, they're rated, and most parents don't even know what the ratings are. But all of them are rated. So please know what's in the video game. If you look on the back of the video game, it'll actually tell you what the things are. Okay. But what I'm really scared about online is kids connecting with people that they don't know. And they're playing games with 35, 40-year-old people. And, things like even Minecraft for some people, believe it or not. It is not the game. If I was really concerned, and I am, I would look at how my kid is connecting to other people online. Because our kids, when they, back in the day when I was a kid, I used to joke that, when somebody rolled up on us in a van, we'd be like, "Get away from me." All right. And so now a lot of the kids that disappear around in the United States and all over the world, they go willingly because they believe that this person online they're talking to is their buddy. And what's really, really important is to understand, hey, Mom, thank you for reacting, is that we don't understand what in the heck is going on. We don't get that this connection, because and what's really, really creepy about this to me is that these kids know how old these people are. A lot of them, they don't have to pretend anymore because they share this platform together. They're playing, Fortnite. or they're playing one of the battle royale games. And if you don't even know what that means, please talk to your kids. They have a team. You know, when I was a kid, we played Pac-Man, right? You go to the arcade, you put a couple quarters in, you die and go home. These games are designed to keep our kids entertained for hours. They have open worlds that they can explore. You know my wife and I are gamers too, and we bought the what is it called? The Switch, the Nintendo Switch. I only bought that system because I love Zelda and the Legend of Zelda, and because it's an open world, you can cook and make things and travel the world. The problem is that it becomes everything to them, and I'm really worried about our kids being locked away right now because they don't have any other choice. So this is a dangerous time for me because I think Facebook kind of started it. I love Facebook, but when people say they have 1,000 friends, our kids don't really understand the difference between a friend and an acquaintance. Okay, how do I regulate what my kids are watching? Ooh, turn the power off. Sounds bad, right? It depends on what we're talking about. So if you're talking about Netflix and those kind of things, there are parental controls. The bottom line is that your kids can probably get around anything you put in place. I would, number one, say get all of the stuff out of the room. I think, especially in this time of isolation, that you need to have rooms designated for certain things. When I was a kid, they had this weird thing. It was called, what was it called? It was called a computer room. And in that room was just a computer. And then we had a living room where we lived in a dining room. I think, especially in this time where things are going cuckoo, we need to go back to basics, and each room needs to be designated. And in your room, like the kids' room, that needs to be where they sleep, okay, and sleep only, or do their homework maybe. And you need to have all the electronics, in my opinion, especially if you have any of these issues, in a public area. So if they're going to play a game, have it played in the living room. They don't need privacy for that. If they need privacy playing their games, so that means there may be something that they're not telling you they're doing. By the way, guys, all of these systems, the PlayStation, the Xbox, those are computers. And sometimes those systems are faster than whatever you're using for work. Whatever you're doing for work, let's say you're using Zoom or something, your kids that's in his bedroom playing in the PlayStation or Xbox has a better chance of connecting in different levels than you will ever do on your little laptop. Their systems are designed for that. Let's see. Okay, the next question is, how do I find a good therapist? Okay, and we're only going to do this for a couple more minutes because I have another client coming in here. Okay, I guess the first thing is that most people don't understand the difference in therapists. So you have, let's say, an LPC, that's me, a licensed professional counselor, a licensed marriage and family therapist, a clinical social worker. Those people we're all kind of in the same level, where we went and got an undergrad degree probably in psychology, and then we did 2 to 3 years in a master's degree. And what that means is that we are the workhorses for people now. We're the ones that we're supposed to see weekly or bi-weekly, and we're the ones that get to know you. And then, so I'm going to walk you through the process. Let's say that you think that your son or your daughter is depressed. You need to book an appointment with a counselor. And that counselor will, talk to them. And I'm going to tell you why, because some people just want to go straight to psychologist or straight to psychiatrist. It is up to us to help you because, for example, I have parents who go, I just want my son to have some anxiety medication. Well, maybe it's not anxiety. My job is to kind of figure out what's going on and then try talk therapy or play therapy or something and to help them and understand what coping techniques to deal with their stress. And then what will happen then, I go, okay, let's say I don't know what's going on. And so what I will do is if I have a kid, for example, that I think is in the autism spectrum, that's a whole nother discussion, I will send that person to get tested. And that's the job of a psychologist. As a therapist, I can diagnose a few things. There are some things that I am allowed to diagnose that I don't, because I know that the experts are the psychologists. And that's usually a doctoral level psychologist, and their job is to do the testing. And they have all these great methods in order to test people for everything. I'm a medic in the Army, okay, and so I like to go back old school. And so with the testing, it's like doing an x-ray. Now let's figure out what's going on, because I get so many clients that have been treated for the wrong stuff. And so they get the testing done. It comes back. Now, when you go get testing, the psychologist is not there to hold your hand. He or she is not there to be your buddy. They're there to, to do the testing, and it's a lot of information. And it's pretty expensive, but it's worth it. You bring that information back to me, and then my job as a therapist is to educate you on what that diagnosis means for you and your family. And I want to give you the tools. One of the things I didn't like about therapy was when I went in the beginning, I didn't get the tools I need in order to figure it out, right? I tell my clients all the time, I am trying to get fired every day. I say, I want to get fired. When I'm fired, that means you're doing well. I love it when I get fired and the kid, for example, is doing great and I get a letter from school, or a matter of fact, I got to talk to one of my kids now who's in the Air Force. And I can't wait to communicate with him because he's doing some great things, okay? I don't know if I answered the question or not. Oh, yeah, okay. So, psychologist. The question was, to get help. Now, let's say they come back to me and we realize this person was diagnosed with generalized anxiety. We try techniques to lower the anxiety. And then the next step may be to get medication. So then I will write a letter out to the psychiatrist to let them know that I recommend medication. Again, it's not my job to decide what type of medication. But remember, the psychiatrist we're all in the same boat. None of us want anybody on medication all the time if it can be helped. And so usually in my letter, I will tell them that this medicine is connected with therapy and counseling, because my goal is for that person to get off of medicine completely. Sometimes, especially when people get very stressed, they have to get on medication to kind of calm their nerves. And then when they calm their nerves, then they're able to connect better. Okay, let's take a look here. Wow, I did not realize this many people were going to be asking me questions. I think that's pretty cool. So I think that I'm going to have to keep doing this, aren't I? I did not think that y'all going to be responding like this so soon. Okay, I'll take about 2 more questions. Is therapy needed right now? Okay. It is so funny. So the question is therapy needed right now? Hold on a second. Gotta pause this. Yes, therapy is needed right now. But I need y'all to understand something. Because I'm trying to get up here. Hold on a second. I'm trying to make sure I answer the question correctly here. Okay. Thank you, Mama. I love my mom. I'm a mama's boy, guys. I think that we need to pause for a minute and to figure out what you're needing. It's really important to look at that right now, because it's not just one person right now. The whole country is hurting, and to not acknowledge that is not okay. I don't know if you were in school back in the day and you remember the hierarchy of needs. The hierarchy of needs, where they had the triangle, and the triangle on the bottom they had all the things you need, right? Food, and then it's like safety and security, love, and then somewhere up here is where counseling would be. And so I completely get this, by the way, because I trust me. You ask my mom and my daddy, we had some very poor time, not poor, but poor. All right. So we couldn't afford to own our. That's poor. Y'all get that? We couldn't afford that. So as we talk about that, was that funny? Was that funny? Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. I think I'm great. I love this program. You can download any sound effect you want into it, and it's really important to be able to interact with your audience. I think that if we understand that the whole country is hurting, then we can start addressing the real issues. Now, I know the hierarchy of needs, right? So the deal is that right now people aren't working, and so it's really hard to talk about how they're feeling when they can't eat. I had some people curse somebody out, like, why in the blank would somebody go to counseling? Well, the answer is that if you know you can't get a job and you know things are bad, then you need to talk it out. If not, you'll stew in your own things. And I forgot who said it, maybe Les Brown says, or Zig Ziglar, said sometimes we don't need to worry about what we're eating, but what's eating us that's killing us. You heard what I said? Not what you're eating, not being gluten-free, but what's eating you. Your own misery, your own self-doubt, and as men, our job is to provide. Trust me, this has not been great for me either. Trying to find different avenues. I have to be careful because I'm allowing people to come in my home. I'm trying to do most of my appointments virtually, but I have some of my kids who've got to see me. But that means that I have to be very, very, very careful. I have to, I have to scrub everything down. I got to make sure I keep the 6 feet. I have to do all of these things because I've still got to take care of my family while taking care of my client and not getting myself or my family sick. Because if I get sick, then I can't provide. And in a time right now when so many people are not able to even open their business, it's really important to feel that. Let's see here. Let's see the other. Okay, guys, just give me any comments you're looking here. I'm looking at some more comments here. Is this software free? Okay. No, the software that I'm using is not free. It's called Ecamm. I'm using the Ecamm Live version. I have about, I think, 11 days left. I'm debating on which one I'm going to purchase. This one is not very expensive. You can look it up online. It's a monthly payment, especially if you're a therapist. I love it, and I'm just learning how to use this thing. And so if you look at the screen right now, the free version will have, let me see if I can move this little thing right here. And once I buy the version, then the Ecamm Live logo will go away. And it's great because you can create your own logos. Now, on the top of my screen, it's funny because I'm doing this backwards. It's so much fun when we try and do this. Okay, let me go up. On the top of my screen, you see Palmer Counseling, which is the name of my company. But you can actually do some really cool things that I'm working on right now by creating a watermark and a seal. But I want you to get this, guys. Don't spend so much time working on the logo. Just take care of people. All right, and if you take care of people, then amazing things will happen. Okay, so no, it's not free, but I think that it's worth it. Okay, other question. What is OCD? Oh my goodness, this is the last one I'm going to answer, and then I'm going to be done for today, okay? And if you want any other things asked, you can ask me right now, and I'll address it next time. I don't know how often I should do this. Hey, Catherine. Hey, Lauren. Welcome, guys. Thank y'all so much. Hey, Tori, miss you. Man, I miss some of these people. Sometimes you don't know how much you miss people until you do. Okay, OCD. What is OCD? Okay, some of you right now are going crazy because if you look at my screen, things are different colors. And for example, if I mess with some of my people, I don't know if I can do it or not on the screen, and I just started moving stuff around. See, you see that my name's in the middle of my face? OCD. Those of you that are going absolutely crazy right now because this thing is in the middle of my face, you may be suffering from OCD. So let me move it out the way so that I don't get beat up later. Okay. I have some really amazing people in my family that have been diagnosed with OCD. OCD is not what people think it is on TV. It's not just about checking the locks. OCD is about obsessive thoughts, for example. So let's talk about the person who gets up over and over again to check the locks. What's going on usually is that they're having an intrusive thought. You think about an intruder, right? That's somebody who breaks into your house. That means these are thoughts that they can't help. And their thoughts are usually like, I'm going to die. Someone's going to kill me. And it's not fun. So people that truly have OCD, when other people say stuff like, I have OCD tendencies, that actually makes a lot of them upset because having true OCD is very, very, very stressful. It is not that they want to check the door, they have to check the door. And if they don't check the door, they can't go to sleep. You see that people have to align things in order. Well, if they don't do that, they feel like something is just going to go wrong. And sometimes it's not a precise thing. It's just that something is wrong. Like you've seen these things on YouTube where, how do you know you're OCD? And you see all these things out of whack. Now, what's really important that I find that those of us who live with people that are OCD get really upset with them because we feel like they are overbearing or angry all the time. What we don't realize is they're anxious, right? And so I know this because my wife and I are opposites. She is a really, really clean person, and I am not. I'm about to get off and clean everything up here. And you'll find a lot of people that are created for the same way. If I leave things a mess for her, she's not angry, she is anxious. When she walks into a place, it causes her severe anxiety and worry, and it doesn't do good stuff for her insides. And so if I love her, and I do, then what I have to do is I have to make sure that I don't do those things. Now, if you can understand that part, then you will understand that the ashes, like I love the phoenix over here. See if I can try to do it again. There we go. The phoenix, right, is something that rises from the ashes, right? And so if you can understand that these things are causing her or him issues, then you can address them differently. OCD. OCD is a need, a compulsive need to do something, and it's usually driven from an obsessive thought. So many of us don't understand what our loved ones are facing, and our loved ones usually can't express it to us. They can't really talk to us about what's going on with them, and so we just kind of take it for granted that they're okay. And the true answer is that they're not. They're not okay. Now, guys, if you have any other questions for me, please, you can either text it here on Facebook, or you can see my email, and I'm learning how to do this because it's backwards here, like on stage. You can do the email at palmercounselingnow@gmail.com, palmercounselingnow@gmail.com, in order for me to get back to you as soon as possible. If you're wanting to talk to me, let me know. We had to move into a home therapy because we were going to move into a bigger practice, and sometimes God does things, right? This was a problem in the beginning, but now I find that people like coming to my home. First of all, I did a lot of work to set it up, to separate it. But the second thing is, well, would you rather be in a room with 20 people coughing on you, or a home environment where you have, one family at a time? I don't let any families cross, meaning that if I have somebody here, they're the only ones here. And then if they come early, they have to go wait in their car. I will send the other family out, wipe down, spray down, air it out, and bring the other family in. Now, what did I just do this then? Guys, I advertise. That is what advertisement is. Stop looking at your situations for all the crappy things. In these times, these are where some of the most wealthy people in the world are going to be created. Just for example, makeup. If somebody can design a makeup for YouTubers, for men and black men, so that we can hide some of this stuff going on in my face that comes off on camera, that was a lot of money, right? Streamers. I have a guy, he's an IT guy. I'm going to be bringing him on to the show. He's an amazing gentleman. If you want his number, he went and set up my network. If you could see the things that have to happen for it to look this good, I will send you his information. And what I need to understand is that networking and connecting right now, we need to still connect with one another. And that happens by trusting one another. What true networking is, it's trusting somebody enough to believe in them. All right, and so guys, thank you everybody. I want to make sure I didn't forget anyone that was on. Let me know whether you want me to do this daily or weekly. Let me know what topics. This was just a trial run. I did not think, because I did not let anyone know I was doing it, that I was going to get anybody online. But please let me know what you need. Share this video if you need to. And we need to make sure we take care of each other. Because in my opinion, it is going to be the community and taking care of each other that's going to make all the difference in the world, guys. Y'all have a good day.